DJ A-Quil.
Queen bee, want no smoke with me. Been turn this motherfucker up 800 degrees. Whole team eat chefs cause she's a treat. Ooh, she's so bougie, bon appetit. I'm a savage, attitude nasty.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Moonlighters Club podcast / agency / hangout session. Do you prefer professionally, Anthony, A-Quil? Like which one do you prefer in this setting?
I mean, we'll go A-Quil. Why not?
A-Quil.
Yeah.
DJ A-Quil?
Yeah. Nah, just A-Quil.
Just A-Quil. Okay. All right. Just trying to figure out. Because it's funny,
it is, right? Trying to figure out branding stuff where it's like, well, DJ A-Quil. And I'm like, yeah, but I did other stuff. But it's like, yeah, but we know he's a DJ. And it's like, yeah, but I'm running Anyway, whatever.
And also, with jobs being related, there's people we talk to who are employed. And I'm always like, do you want me to use your real name? Do not. Because it's more often than not, companies are cool. Like, yo, that's so-and-so. That's Jamerson, shout out to Jamerson.
Yeah.
They're like, we know him. And then I can use both names. Some people out of respect. I'm definitely not going to go the Shannon Sharp route and just tag you. Like, this is Anthony DeBose tagging him. Like, I'm very nah, I'm not going to do that. It's up to you. We will. So I always want to ask, what do you prefer? But
no, you could put, I mean, if you're like a title card, A-Quil or something. But I mean, if you call me Ant, I'm clearly our relationship is different. I don't care.
Good. I just want to make sure it helps you.
Yeah.
Brand wise. For those who don't know, interviewed Anthony 5 years ago or so in Minnesota, in my mom's basement. I actually messed up the mic too. So I remember it ran off the mic. Yeah. It ran off the Mac mic. But now I'm not as stupid. Have mics. It's remote. I'm in DC. It's still a basement. Man. How was 2023 for you?
2023 professionally was pretty great.
Nice.
It's like the last couple of years, there's been like, just these increases, and we can get into it. But yeah, overall, it was pretty great. There was, I'm not going to bring it down too much. Like, just it was sucky in the sense of like just some deaths that happened. So literally like bookend, like it started with 3 at the top of the year and then like ended with 3, where it's like, yeah, that's wild. But like outside of like that, as far as like professionally, like no, it was really good.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, was this your first second? How many full entrepreneurial years have you had? Since working at
that previous company?
Yeah.
Got you. Because that is funny, right? So remember, we're talking about, well, the whole premise and the concept of this, and it's like, well, yeah, I kind of left a 9 to 5, but then also like I was doing this like DJing for a company. So it's almost like, I thought about this. I know you would catch it, but I'm like, it almost felt like, remember when Pook came home and Wired, he was talking to Bodie. He's like, all right, so who we with now? And it went from like Avon to Marlo, and he's kind of like, oh, one boss the same as the next.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, that's kind of what it was. I left 9 to 5, but then still technically, I'm independent contracting, but it's for a company, so it's still not mine. So all that to say, I've had I started to send January 24th, 2020, like officially as a LLC and as a DJ company, or as a DJ / production company. So it'll be 4 years officially in a couple weeks.
Didn't even feel that long. It's interesting. That's damn.
It does.
That's right.
Because
it was
literally was like, and it's that. It's like January 20, we up. Then March 20, it was like, oh, we in the house.
Yeah.
And like luckily, like a lot of deposits that I had from a lot of people who already knew I was about to start my business from the previous year. And then of course, because when you're booking wedding stuff, then you got to book so far in advance. So nobody wanted their money back except for like one person. It wasn't a wedding. That was actually a corporate event. I won't say who they were, but I'm like, really, Doug? Like you, all the couples who were like, no, we got you. The corporate event who definitely had the money, like, yeah, we're just gonna need that. It's like, you ain't need that back.
Is there anything you miss from having the company behind? Like, I know you've been busting your butt, getting things off the ground and doing well, but is there any aspect of working with the previous company prior to you going out on your own that you're like, oh, it'd be nice to have that specific thing? Or no? You like this is
no admin stuff.
Okay.
Admin, office, which I'll get there, but it's that when you kind of jump in head first and you're doing and touching everything, and then it's cool until it's not, where it's like, all right, bro, like enough of this. Like it was cool for a second. I'm out the mud. I'm getting it. I'm doing this and that. And I got 40 jobs. I don't want 40 jobs no more.
Yeah.
I want.
Yeah.
Like it's okay when you're at a starting point and you only have so many gigs you're doing, I guess. But I've done, let's see. So if we're, and I'm only knowing these stats because I just had to do, had a wedding fair last night. So you're going through all your company, checks and yada, yada. So I feel like 2020 with the, pandemic. So we were inside. I had a few like January, February, and then the very beginning of March. And then we were inside for those 3 months. So doing streaming stuff. And then I was able to do a lot of outdoor stuff by June because people were definitely tired of being in the house. And remember, George Floyd was May. So it's like by then people were like, we don't care. We're outside. So
we'll just die. Let's just die. That was my whole thing too. Like, who cares if I die? I can't be
we're outside.
Anymore.
But yeah, but and I say that more correlating like with June, George Floyd, and then into Juneteenth. So like Juneteenth just felt like a massive deal in 2020.
Yeah.
So that was the first event I did, and like I said, it was about 1,000 people.
That was like the one good one. That was like, y'all can have this one. The rest we don't give a shit about. You get 20 spotty.
But then since then you had, like I said, like a few weddings that were doing like distant stuff and outside, and then just other events. But again, everything was mainly outside. So I probably did about still like 40 something events in total that year.
Nice.
And then 2021, clearly everybody was ready to be out, and we had some precautions or most precautions in place. And how we moved around was a little different. So I think 2021 I did 107 events.
Yeah.
Total. And then the last 2 years, I've literally ended up around 92, 93.
92, 93. All right.
Yep.
Could you explain what your business is? Because I don't want to oversimplify with the term. Because I feel like, this is perfect sense. If I go, DJ or whatever, people are automatically like, oh, it's this.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just being your whole well-rounded self.
No, thank you for saying that. And that's something I've actually been working on with the business, because right away when you jump on like you're a DJ, and really even specific before that, when I was like, oh, I DJ weddings, like, oh, you're a wedding DJ. And it's like, no. I DJ weddings more for me because I can make more money doing that. A lot of people don't like weddings. I like weddings. I don't mind them. They're cool. But where it is versus say doing a lot of like club stuff and what people would offer for that, I'm like, I literally can make more doing this. I don't mind a longer day. I want to make more and build like a company. And then starting my own company, I'd be a fool to not capitalize off of having a name in the wedding industry and continuing that. But I wanted to expand because, as we've talked about before, like I, originally went to school for like screenwriting, film, and stuff like that. And I actually started doing DJing to kind of get back to that, and then DJing just kind of took off. So when I was like, oh, I want to, start my own company. So I've had the Ascend name since like 2008, 2009, not officially, but when we were doing film projects, like you can go back and look, like we literally using that name. So it's like, oh, now this is Ascend 2.0 essentially. But so in addition to like weddings, corporate events, and then now starting my own, it's allowed me to really expand outside of that. So so I'll do like school events, so proms, homecomings, winter dances, some senior overnights. Is that a thing in the East Coast, by the way? I was telling my wife about this. She was like, we didn't do senior overnights, senior locker rooms. She grew up out west. So I don't know if that was a Midwest thing or what.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of that. I think it depends on where you are. I feel like most suburban schools have more things like that because the towns, they're super insular, so it's a better job of keeping tradition, whereas Boston public schools where I grew up seem more transient. And a lot of, you know what I mean? Like there were folks who were like, oh, we all went to this middle school. That was rare. So in reality, or high school, that's kind of rare. So I do think it happens. I just think it probably happens in the bigger towns outside the city.
Gotcha. Okay. So some versatility with school events, and then sporting events, trivia, karaoke, nightclub stuff, day party stuff. Pretty much anything you can think of, and I used this line last night for the wedding fair. It's like anything you can think of that people DJ. Like I've DJ'd everything except for quinceañera. Like anything else, like bar mitzvah, anything I've done it. Corporate events, I've done it.
Do people DJ funerals? That's not a actually. I think I've seen those funerals where the dudes are like propped up. Yeah. I think I've seen a couple. It's crazy. So, it's really crazy. But I've seen.
Well, let me say two things then. I've never DJ'd a quinceañera at a funeral.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah. But saying that to say that again, so right now the company in this stage is mainly a DJ company, but as I'm expanding, like my goal is to be a full on like DJing / production, because it's more the emphasis on the entertainment. Like DJing is cool, but it's also about helping create experiences, and this is what I've been working on with a lot of like just business folks helping you grow, where it's like the way you brand yourself, and it's like, well, you're more invested in the experience because yes, you're a dope DJ, but also when we talk about whatever you want for your party or for your wedding or for whatever, I want to be able to help like accentuate that whole experience. So if you're like, this is my theme, okay, even like if we have enough, so let's say you want like, I'm gonna use for example a Disney theme. Okay, so one thing that you've seen fog machines, right? They also have like the cloud machine where they have the floating cloud. Like, so instead of like dispersing everywhere, like it just floats on the ground. So it gives this kind of I'm floating on clouds feeling. So and then adding camera work and then also like other lighting work. It's like it just really helps. Really hones in on the feel of like the actual event itself versus just we're in a banquet hall and we got a DJ. So it's more about kind of elevating all those type of things all around. So that's what I'm currently working on, and then the goal is to have eventually a couple DJs, clearly like some admin staff so I don't have to touch everything, and then a couple like so videographers, editors, and then one day where it's enough of that where I can actually step back and it's like, all right, here's a full-fledged company, like I'm DJing kind of whenever I feel like it, but I'm more running the company.
Is that what you want to do? And before you answer that, there's this ray of light that is annoying me, so I gotta shift this desk. But I also hate editing. So for those listening, you're gonna have to bear with me because I don't want to. Nope, Ray is still there. God damn it! All right, I think I'm good. Nice. Ray is gone.
It's all gone now.
Oh. So yeah, is that your natural progression? Like all right. For example, we do these. Like I like talking to folks like this in the realm of things revolving around revenue for this company. Is like a shoot or a showcase. I don't have to host showcases ever again. That's one thing I'm like, I do it because I have to, but I don't want to. But I think talking to someone at some point on a microphone, I'd like to do. But I can also see myself going all the way in the back, looking for clients all the time, looking for revenue all the time, and never doing it again. In terms of you going from talent to person, would you be happy not DJing ever with more revenue? Everything's blowing up, and you're not DJing at all. Would you be happy?
I'd be okay, but I would be doing something else talent based because, and that's why I kind of creating the company and creating this umbrella. I'm an artist, end of the day, and I'm venturing into the business space and kind of learning because I'm like, I want to do this for myself and maximize as much as possible. But at the end of the day, I'm going to always be creating something because that's just natural, So I know for myself, I don't see myself DJing, for another 20 years. Like that's not happening. And then running the company, like, I probably at some point just be bored running just a company. But the other part of like introducing the video aspect, like I still love, video, like editing, producing, like those things, whether it's like a show or whether it's a, sketch, or whether it's like a short film, those things are still passions. So it's like, that's why having the company as is. Yeah. So it'd be nice to have a couple DJs that can, take care of a few other gigs, guys that I've trained, like these guys are awesome, but then also being able to utilize other like passions, even just podcast stuff, like just period. So as a creative, you're just always going to be creating. So
it's interesting when you get to that point. Like I'm 40 now, and after doing the last showcase, we do the showcase. We're in Baltimore. It's cool. People are like, let's hang out. And I'm like, all right. It was over like 10. It's not crazy. And we were just hanging out at the Mini Hip Hop Museum, and I'm like, Ray, I just had a headache all day. I'm like, man, I think I'm ready to turn in. It was like 11 something or whatever. And it's crazy because I'm like, all right, these are like the cocaine hours. So in reality, someone has to be able to be around to network at night at different times. And you're like, I don't think it's going to be me. So there are times where you realize, okay, shit needs to happen now. But I may not be the person that happens with. And that was that defining moment with me where I'm like, yeah, this is cool and all. Someone has to be around at certain things, but it's definitely not me at this point in my life. If I were 23, give me all the cocaine. But no, I'm just joking. I've never done cocaine. I don't think I've ever even seen cocaine. So you made it through 2020, which is huge.
Yeah, definitely.
Were there any other times where any other periods where things got stark, where you were like, I don't know if we can continue to work like this? Because I know you were consistently getting events, but was there any time within that craziness where you were like, I don't know if this is the move?
No, because the timing of everything. So 2019, I got married. And when I got married, me and my wife, we were still technically living in separate houses, like after the wedding. So like that whole summer I spent like cleaning, like between both places, cleaning the old place and getting it ready for sale. So then sold my house 2019. And then so we going into 2020, and it's like, again, I had the money from the sale of the house. And my wife was still employed. And then all the deposits I already had from all those different weddings. Like, so no one outside of that one corporate company wanted their money back. So having those things, thank goodness, help. Where, you know, if we didn't, it might have been a different story. I was able to apply for a couple of grants, and nothing like crazy. I got maybe like 1,500 total or something like that. But still, just those things help. And then I had some merch, so selling some merch. So it's like, okay, it's like little things like that where it's like, all right, the cushion of, again, wife, the sell of the house, and then like having those other deposits. It's like, even if technically work wise I didn't make like a lot of money based on 2020 not being able to work for a certain amount or be outside, I still had all those other things that kind of helped fall back. And then once people started getting a better feel, again, more deposits are coming in towards the end of the year for later 2021, or people were like, oh, we have our date, but now we're getting pushed back to 2022. So there was like a lot of like 2021, 2022, a lot of makeup dates too. So it's like a lot of this stuff all over the place. But no, all those things help. So there was never a point where it felt like this ain't gonna work, because you could like having that cushion and then having I won't say overcorrect, but people are like wanting so bad to be back out, and like, we gotta get back to normal, So all of those things helped in a sense of like us, where it's like, okay, cool, like you feeling this way, then you say you can move it this way, and they're like, yep, here you go, boom, boom, boom. So no.
Do you feel like you hit a wall now in terms of, if you have not hit a wall now, do you think it's close in terms of production output? Because you've been talking about adding, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, do you feel like you're at a point now where you're like, I really feel like I'm stretched as far as I can go, or no?
Mm-hmm. It's I guess, wall or ceiling, or however you want to say it. It's more of I know where I'm gonna be. I know what my capacity is as an individual. So there's work I'm turning away, but I know I can do this much and make this much. I'll be around this much a year, outside of like just increasing prices like drastically. Even though it's like been nice to kind of tweak some of that. So the number of events, that's still a high number of events to do, but still the number is going down a little bit, but the money is definitely like shot up, which is good. But I also know that I can't continue at that pace for like another probably a couple years. Sure, technically I don't want to, but I could for a few more years. But also know that's not sustainable for like 5, 7, 10 years.
Yeah,
like that's just not real life. Like where me and my wife are trying to build just our things outside of work, and just physically, like as much as you want to be young in your brain, it's like, nah, it was a difference when I first started DJing, and like I could do 3-4 weddings or 3-4 corporate events or whatever back to back and maybe a little tired. I do like let's say yesterday was a full day, and I slept a good probably like 10 hours. And I'm like, if we weren't doing this, I might still be asleep.
And that's why I don't really envy the people who get it young, because you feel it when you're younger, but now that you're older, you're like, well, if I was 23 and I knew everything I knew now, let's say I did, you understand why there's so many stories about people burning out and dying, because you feel like, well, I can do whatever I want to do. Like, you don't ever think something wrong is going to happen. And it's easy. We were overloading ourselves regardless back then. So from a work perspective, you're just like, let's go till the wheels fall off, and then stuff happens. Whereas now it's good to know that, like, to have that mind set where you understand, I do want success and things of that nature, but it has to happen in a way that makes sense to make way smarter decisions than before.
Yes.
Like, you're just not going to overbook yourself. You're not going to say yes to a bunch of nonsense. You're just more organized and kind of, you pinpoint those things, which is pretty cool.
And that's the difference of, like, to your point, like one where you're just going super hard and getting the experience, and you're probably not charging as much, right? or like so with the company, like they're having their cut. So because they have their cut, you're having to do a lot more because if you have your own financial goals. And then now where it's your own company, you're making more. Yes, you're paying more, and now you're responsible for your own insurance and all this. That's fine. It comes with the territory, but everything takes care of itself. So now moving in those ways, it's like, well, now there's certain events I'm not going to take. So maybe 7 years ago, doing a lot of birthday parties, like cool, okay. Then this comes along, so now it's like doing weddings. So like the price point, it's more about the price point. It's like forget the event for a second. Main thing we're talking about is price point. So if I'm doing this and I'm making this price, I'm going to stop doing, as many of these events down here that only make so much because it doesn't make sense to turn this down when I have this right here. I mean, it doesn't make sense to turn this down for this right here where it's like, that's the price gap. You know what I mean? So now you essentially just keep doing that in climbing. So with certain events, where it's like, all right, well, I'm not going to do a prom, when I have like this wedding, or I'm not going to do this club event when I'm DJing for the Vikings. And and even if that pay is to a certain level, now it's like even just having that name recognition, well, that makes your pay go up over here. So it's always this constant climb of like, once you get to a certain level, then I'm not going to keep going back down and taking other stuff because that's more for somebody else who's just starting out. And now you can price things against each other and now have more value in your time. Okay, cool. So maybe I only did 50 events instead of like 93, but those 50 events I did, they all were like 4 or 5 figures or something, for example, like those are the goals versus just $1.50 in drink tickets, and I'm not knocking that for somebody if that's the lane and like, no, that's no problem. But it's just saying, if your goal is to build a company, make money versus just DJing for fun, then it's like, well, yeah, you have to do those things to scale your business. You know what I mean?
What event type is your next? What event type is what's going to take it to the next level? Like what? Because you've discussed various things. Like we talk outside of this. What do you think if you're like, if I can get this type of event to go, or to do more of, or create yourself, and that lands, what's the game changer?
I do think it would be creating, and not reinventing the wheel, but just creating like my own event. And let's say it's something that's even like quarterly, but where you're, clearly like a, event, you're charging tickets, you have an event space, and it's an event that where people are willing to pay a good amount of money because it's a quality event. Okay, so anybody who like throws an actual event where they're like, I can do this and make 5 and 6 figures off of one event based on XYZ, then it's like, oh, I'm set, I'm straight, So I would think that would be kind of next level. But again, I'm not looking to do anything like monthly or weekly or anything, but like maybe a quarterly event, like this really great cause, really great quality event where it's like cool. Because you've seen that even in different facets of like, I would think, for example, this isn't DJ related, but it's still artist related, company related. The 48-hour film festival, something that's in Minnesota, and that only happens once a year. And actually, back when we first had the Ascend name, that's how it came up. We were doing festivals like that. So the premise is you get a concept, and then you write a film. They give you like a couple key things that every group has to follow, but you make your own film within 48 hours from conception to completion, and you got to turn it in by that Sunday night or whatever. But saying all that to say, you charge however many, whatever group, say like $120 for their entry, but you have 200 and something groups that are participating, and like you only have like 3 winners or maybe 6 winners because it's like best film, best score, and all these things, and it's fun. But it's like the business aspect. I'm like, yo, I just charged 200 and something groups to participate, $120 entry fee, and we literally do this once a year. Like, look how much money you just made from one weekend. I'm not saying they're not doing other things like throughout the year, but just the fact that like we have this one staple event we can do and make this much, generate this much revenue. So I think that's always kind of the goal, is like how can I, continuously get my time down but still get my, revenue up and without stepping on people. That's my personal thing, because we're not heartless capitalists over here.
Yeah. Do you that's good. Do you have a idea for what that event would be? Have you ever thought about it? Like what you would call it? How it would flow?
Not yet, because I have a lot of ideas, but it essentially would be, it would essentially be some interactive things. Because I'm always just big on experience, and I think that's why, whether it's been the success in the wedding industry, the success with doing stuff with the Vikings, or even like with corporate stuff. Everything always falls back to experience. So one, the base is having a dope DJ who understands music and understands the event. Okay, like the event's this, the theme is this. Here's my target audience. I know they're going to vibe with this, and I can read a crowd. And again, that speaks to the experience. Now, what are some other things that add to that? So let's say that's having, I'll just say, for example, like a 360 booth, because based on a theme, this would help with this. Okay, that also the lighting and the ambiance. Okay, now also like just certain food. Then also like people just really appreciate when themes connect. Where it doesn't feel like it's a whole bunch of just random thing. We just had a whole bunch of stuff for y'all to do, but it just feels random and thrown out. It's like no. Everything fits somewhere. Everything flows, for a reason. And when people really grasp those concepts, it works. And at least I would say that for here, like Minnesota, if you put together something that has like a good theme, people are willing to give it a chance.
Yeah, my good friend A-Quil, Evans, feel free to look him up if you're listening or watching, from Baltimore, had an event where he's working with another organization. I am so sorry I forgot. I will shout you out for sure. But it was in Baltimore, and it was in like this artist loft space. And you'd walk in, and it's set up like a living room. Kind of like a fun basement is what I would say. Like you go to Minnesota, everyone has like done up basements, like there's carpeting everywhere. He basically made it look like his workshop / house. So you have all these seats, and they're just like jazz playing in the background. But he had like this thing set up where you could sit, you could look at stuff, look at the art he's made, the clothes that he's made in the past. At some point in the night, he put down a screen and people were watching videos and stuff. It's chill. Just came in. It was more, you just kind of walked around. People were sitting down, hanging out, talking to each other. And it was really, really cool. So I do think there's a different space for alternative events, especially now. Like when 20 something years ago, which is crazy to say, 17 years ago or something like that, when I was legally drinking, it was all about just getting really drunk and like and going out and like.
Let me clock my age real quick.
Yeah, it was all about going out. And I'm not saying people weren't doing other things, but I do think because of social media, you have more access to stuff like what people do in different states and different countries. So I do think there's a space for someone to put something together, like really cater a venue for something that happens every once in a while. But it's not just dancing and drinking. Like you can lay it out nicer. You can charge varying amounts depending on the experience, but you're really providing a different space, especially in a place like Minnesota. Like I used to live in Minnesota, so I talk a lot of shit about it because I do it about any place I used to live. But I think Minnesota would be really receptive to something fresh and new. And I think me and you talk about this. We talk about this often, specifically in the Black community. We tend to do the same things too much because we want to, like, someone does something, then we want to be the coolest person that does that. Like in DC, like people talk about DC a lot, and I love it here. There's 1,000 hookah lounges. There's not that much hookah in the world, bro. Like there's 1,000 hookah lounges. There were at least like 3 places that have the words Afrofuturism in them. And I'm like, all right, everyone's in the future now. It's a lot of that. On the street I live by, 8th Street, there's like 80 dispensaries, and I'm like, yo, it's fine with people having a choice and doing what you want to do. That's fine. If you want to make the same place as someone else, that's cool. It's cool. However, I believe that the best thing is finding a problem that people aren't solving and doing that. So I do think that like figuring out or just making something and then seeing if people like it, that's the way to go. Sure, that's what Lady Gaga did.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Quick side question. I won't sidetrack too much, so we can go down rabbit holes. How much have you heard the term Afrofuturism post Black Panther 1?
Yeah, that
because I don't feel like I made it to. I don't feel like I heard it that much even leading up to Black Panther 2.
Yeah,
I was just curious.
It came out of that. It was that. I didn't hear it that often, and now and I think it's an excuse for me to charge to get charged $100 for red snapper. People are like, nah, it's Afrofuturistic food, and I'm like, but how do we know? We haven't been there yet. Like, how do we know? So like, it'll be nice. Don't get me wrong, but I also think that I don't think it's a lot of that stuff can be well rounded when you're just basing it off other things. So okay, the food may be fire, with black folks, I think is generally like the look of the stuff will be fire. Like you're like, yo, it's gonna look dope. We're gonna make it look like Atlanta. You know what I mean? Like your loud is gonna look dope or do whatever. But generally, 9 times out of 10, the experience isn't what you're like what you want. Like there are so many places where the food is fire in various states where we've been to together, where you're like, yeah, like everyone was fine and yeah, you're like, yeah, but this wasn't, you know what I mean? The fun we had, you're like, this could have been something different. And I think that's the opportunity. Like, what are we looking at next? And,
right.
It's just whoever figures that out, like, I think they got it.
Yeah.
So, all right. How can people support you? Find you?
A-Quil.com. It's the main hub website. And then of course all the socials are attached to that. So I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, anything you think of. Find A-Quil, A_Quil. So A-Quil, A_Quil, or A_Quil 22. All those are me somewhere. Those are ways. Of course, tell people about the services. Because I do actually plan on DJing in a few places outside of Minnesota. I had before. I've DJed in Chicago. The wedding, but Chicago, surrounding states, Wisconsin. But had a couple opportunities that didn't happen, but this year is definitely like I want to make sure I'm out in a few other places out like Vegas, Cali, like wherever. This is one of the goals. So another way to support, bring me to your city.
Nice. If there was one dream connection you could make, one, and not a person, but like it could be a wedding, it could be the event you're trying to create. What is that next? What would be ideal? If this one person could say, yo, I can help you out with this thing, what would that be?
Just helping fully flesh out what I want to send to be in its total vision.
Got it.
And then being able to bring that into different places. So when I think about the upgrades now, it's more like upgrading equipment. Like, how does my equipment look? I want to have a certain look. I want to have a certain feel. But all those things still still extend the like feeling of like what the event is. You know what I mean? So having a little more hands on that, and then someone to be able to like, okay, like what do you need? Like what does that look like? And what does it look like monetarily? Okay, cool, and we can do that. And then being able to take this blueprint and exist in like any state. Because while I'm building something that's here, it doesn't necessarily need to be just in Minnesota. It's just like, hey, here's a different way, a creative way, a new way to approach events, period, whether it is weddings, whether it is this, whether it is that. And then kind of taking what that kind of stamp is and being able to, apply it. So let's say here's a brand and now we're able to franchise it. Okay. Now we have an ascend in Atlanta. Now we have an ascend in New York.
Yeah.
No problem. Because I'm not saying I'm trying to do anything super, different, but it's like, how can we do it better? And being in these spaces and kind of understanding people and what they're looking for with these different levels of events and like what they really care about, which is one, of course, your professionalism, and of course, just understanding the customer and their needs, but then also like being dope at it. Because it seems like you always get either or. You can get a very, professional DJ, but they're not actually that great of a DJ. They understand the customer service aspect. Or you get like these amazing, DJ artists, but they're like savants in a way, or it's just like they're just all over the place business-wise.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, there's actually, there are some people who are high level in like both of those areas. And how do we take that and at minimum formulate that in a way that, you can get some talented DJs, but also get some talented people around them and create this experience that people are like, this is memorable.
I think we got someone for that. I think I have a few people for that. So I'll definitely, but if you're out there as well and I don't know who you are, please reach out to A-Quil and let them know. Let's get that connection made. I feel like most of the people we talk to were like here and like, this is the way to get up. And the best way to do it is organically, because you can, as we're seeing on various social media outlets, waiting for a big check to come for your talents. Generally not the best way to go. Maybe strings with that. And there are a lot of great people like yourself who are doing it, and you're going there, and you may already be there, but to get to that next level, it's really just one conversation. That's it. So we'll talk that into fruition, man. We'll
angel investors would be nice.
Okay, some angels. Okay.
Yeah. Because people are like, oh, you can go to this place for loans. I don't really want a loan. I'm not saying I won't, but it's just not at the top of the list. I'm just.
There's pros. Yeah. It's crazy because there are pros and cons of both. Like a loan is just like, here you go, just pay me back.
That is true.
But the bank will, they'll kill you. The bank is like, bro, I'm gonna
pay me back.
Like,
but pay me back with a lot of interest.
The bank is outside like Marlo, like, bro. You already know how that's gonna go. It's gonna be real brief with you, dog. So
it can be real brief. You're gonna be in Vegas.
Yeah, but then investing is like just finding the right person and then going from there. Yeah, so I guess it is. But then there could be someone.
And then someone who kind of understands your vision. But that's also on us too to make sure. And that's why I say I'm at a space where I'm trying to make sure I'm curating my vision properly and communicating it properly too. Because while you're because that's the other drawback. While you do have your hands on so many wheels, it's like you're also in the middle of like making sure the business stuff is running like smooth, but then you're so caught up in the day to day, you don't have a chance to like, all right, I want to take the time to get back to the creative part and like really flesh out the vision of this. So I can tell you here's exactly what I need, here's exactly what I want. The point that I'm at now is like, I understand that I can't do all these things by myself, and I'm getting better at understanding like what needs to be like automated, what needs to be just like a PA. Stuff that needs to be done, but I don't need to touch it. And then it's like, all right, and then here's the things that like I personally have to touch. But relinquishing some of those other things and understanding, and then being able, again, communicate to other folks. It's like, okay, because people are like, yeah, I don't mind helping. What do you need help with? And it's like, I have to be able to communicate what I need help with, but then also for you to understand, like, yeah, it's not a part-time in the sense of like you have 7-12 other responsibilities and you kind of help me out when you can. It's like, no, I want to make sure I have people who are ready to go. They can utilize this platform themselves, whatever they're building. Because I'm not looking to have like a whole bunch of employees and like you're under me forever. One model that I always looked at, I thought was cool. However you feel about him and his comedy is Nick Cannon and how he did Wildin' Out. I'm like, I just like the fact that he created a platform that was like, hey, I'm taking all these comedians and now it's like taking some battle rappers, give you a platform, let you do what you do. And by the time you leave this platform, you got some more eyes on you. You can take your thing now and get to something bigger.
Right.
I thought that was always dope. So it's like, yeah, I'd like to be able to provide even like young DJs or young videographers who are coming in. Let's do this. Help me grind on this. But then by the time you get to a certain level in like a couple of years, then you're leaving here and, and we also taught you how to like create your own business if that's your goal. And, let's make sure your LLC is registered. Let's make sure you're doing all these things that way, because it just helps you in the long run. And especially if you are, again, post, 2020, as a Black business owner, as a BIPOC business owner, there are people who are looking for you, and there's also like funds that you have access to that a lot of folks don't realize they have. As I'm, still looking, so it's like, no, take advantage of these things. Like, and if this is something that you want to do and like make money, like we know that DJing or video stuff people don't look at as a full-time job, but it's like it actually is. You actually can make a lot of great money, and there's actually a lane for these things. So just go out there and do it.
Yeah,
find those connections that can help you do it.
People do that kind of. That's the bit of naivete in that. Whereas, like, bro, like you could do it with full time. Could be anything. Could be taking the trash out. Could be USPS. Be DJing. And there are so many different ways to do it. It's just you get to a point where you realize, okay, how much time am I spending doing X, Y, Z? And believe me, as someone who's always worked at startup, there are so many things I did where I'm like, yeah, a robot could do this. Whereas I'm looking at someone running an event or a DJ, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe a really smart robot, charismatic one. I don't think they make those yet. But still, there's just as much value in them doing that than me doing this. So,
AI is coming, but I don't think it's there yet.
Yeah. Iverson is definitely on the way, bro.
He said we talk about robot practice.
What if the robots didn't want to practice? That'd be hilarious. But yeah, anyone watching, we'll get that connection made. Definitely, man. Help you flesh out that business. If folks looking for any kind of event, work, consultation, A-Quil is the person. It'd be nice to see that. Let's we're gonna hold you to that, man. We need to see that A-Quil event sooner than later.
For sure.
So we can it'd be cool to just go there and check it out. But yeah, everyone listening, thank you, and we'll see you on the next one.
DJ A-Quil is here to shut it down.
Baby, sex on the beach, on the river, we are do it if you like. Girl, you look like a big body Benz. Me fear drive it hard. You make me cocky print. You fear ride it hard. Me want broke your bad. Give you my credit card. Have me, I wonder if you forget the wedding man. Want see the freaky side where you tell me about. Wind up inna your belly, me go in and out. Say she love it, tell me cocky run up in her mouth. She say Pops, so like you me can't do me now. Wine for me now, wine for me now, wine for me now. Wine up your body for me now, wine for me now, wine for me now, wine for me now. Wine up your body for me now. Yeah, good as your wife. Tell her pussy pretty and it clean and tight. Love when you cock it up alright. Fuck you make you look like you the girl. Let's make a movie all night. Let me touch your body all night. Bend it over like she runs. Want me pull up when she home alone. Me nah fi tell her like off the phone. She lick me like a cream when she sigh. Wind up your sexy body, you are me Barbie dolly. Have you in a me room around, I push her like a trolley. She says she ever ready, me come in a the belly. Have me catch it in a jam up, baby, just for the steady. Wine for me now, wine for me now, wine for me now. Wine up your body for me now, wine for me now, wine for me now, wine for me now. Girl, let's make a movie all night. Let me touch your body all night.
I make you feel like me fire. Let us with a good touch of tire. Get up on the person, matter who the liar. Let us with a good touch of tire. Make you feel like me flyer. Let us with a good touch of tire. Get up on the person, matter who the liar. Let us with a good touch of tire. Enough girl call me daddy. Cry them need my body. When me back her up in the shower, girl, you see this soap job stay down the few hours. Since your love, I come and make me touch you know. Love your son, hug your son, turn your son. Know where you no figure, everything is so for you. She say why, then I wrote like a W. Make you feel like me flyer. Let us have a good touch of tire. Get up on the person, matter who the liar. Let us have a good touch of tire. Make you feel like me flyer. Let us have a good touch of tire. Get up on the person, matter who the liar. Let us have a good touch of tire.
Me have a man, why have a woman when I know about me. Boy, me know a she, but she don't know me. The body make me happy, do me no own it. This is the original side chick song. Be open up my feelings for your next gal man. Me know it wrong, but it never plan. Normally me a wife, me no whole side bitch position. This is not my style and I saw me tan. Be open up my feelings for your next gal man. Me know it wrong, but it never plan. Normally me a wife. Me no like bone and if you lie, me no forgive. Some a feel a little better if I me him cheat with. When you are the wife, you don't know who else in my frig. Oh, when you're on the side of you, we might tell everything. Him rate me highly, spoil me, treat me like a wifey. I be respect, non-text when him beside me. The only thing I say we lucky and we private. And if me see them on the ground, me have to avoid it. Most him know me not go confront no girl. Not the type of search and contact no girl. If me see them together, me in my feelings, but still me not leave him. This is the original side chick song. Be open up my feelings for your next gal man. Me know it wrong, but it never plan. Normally me a wife, me no whole side bitch position. This is not my style and I saw me tan. Be open up my feelings for your next gal man. Me know it wrong, but it never plan. Mali, wah,
me no want no stalling. Me want you to sit down on it now. Early in the morning, when me rise up with a tall thing. Me no want no warning. Me want you to sit down on it now. Ting-a-ling-a-ling, 3 o'clock a.m. phone ring-a-ling-a-ling. So she want come sit down on it thing. Bounce like swing-a-ling-a-ling. Left leg, right leg, start fling-a-ling-a-ling. Make them R&B singers now sing-a-ling-a-ling. Sing-a-ling-a-ling, sing-a-ling-a-ling. Make she want marry me by ring-a-ling-a-ling. Yeah, I got that first thing in the morning. I got that stay home. I got that never wanna leave me. I'm what she waits for. I got that first thing in the morning. I got that stay home. I got that never wanna leave me. Leave me. She like it early in the morning. When me rise up with a hot thing. Me no want no stalling. Me want you to sit down on it now. Early in the morning. When me rise up with a tall thing. Me no want no warning. party down the place.
DJ A-Quil.
Big ways, fine face, 10 days. I don't dare wait for you, my charge. For you, my charge. You want the phone? No case. I no go talk. Scarface for you, my charge. For you, my charge. Take me everywhere you want to go. Tell me everything I want to know. No lies, no lie. Yeah, run am anyhow you want to run. Shake am, baby girl you fire pass it on. No doubt. But you say, kilo come, I'm getting money, biggie money. So what's the fun? Who be risky? Body whiskey, get tipsy, but all the bar risky. Kilo come, I'm getting money, biggie money. So what's the fun? Who be risky? Body whiskey, get tipsy, but all the bar risky.
DJ A-Quil.
Hell yeah, I don't wanna lose you this time, I win him. No time, I'ma get a winnie, wanna your love, they do me one time. Oh my, I'ma get the mommy. Show me how you feeling this night. I'ma say your love, say na winnie, wanna your love, they do me this night, yeah. I need your grace, me never relent, my love no get shame, no matter the case, but my music give me bass, my sweet bass, so my love no get shame, for you all day, every night, every day, me gon' need my baby to call on me, close to me, yeah. By the time when you dey wake up in the morning, man, I dey buy you cypher, make you fall for me. Oh yeah.
DJ A-Quil.
Nobody can stop you. So we dey fly past you. Over any obstacle, it be Odogu. Say now who they draw the map, you Odogu. You are looking at the champion, Odogu. Why the girls they shaking yashi, Odogu. With the person with the cash, Odogu. Aje, kekele, Odogu. Aje, kekele, Odogu. Aje, kekele, Odogu. Champion. Make up your mind, just to go. Bounce to the sound while I bounce with the do. Serve yourself, not the matter with the do. I'ma you this slow. Move, make a move. I go slide, then you go sink like a boat. Me, I just they laugh like say life is a joke. I like you broke girls with they clean with they go. If your boyfriend don't get money, then they can't go. Go back. When I reach you, Poland, then calling me Odogu. And I signed at the town, I put down before Egu. Odogu. And nobody can stop you. So we dey fly past you. Over any obstacle, it be Odogu. Baby girl, tell me where you come from. Cause you got me confused when you move that bomb. You give me leg over, huh? Got me confused when you bend over. We gon' do it till we hungover. Black shades on, we ain't never sober, yeah.
Me, I go chop all the washing, as long as you give me my passion.
Aye.
Baby, make you know they rush me. I beg you, make you treat me with caution. Hey, leg over. My baby, give me leg over. Hangover. Baby, she dey give me hangover. Hey, leg over. Oh no, make give me leg over. Hey, game over. She dey come give me game over. My baby, they confuse me, yo, with that bomb bomb. But she got the guy where they send her money from London. She they see me like a Johnny just come. Yeah. A monkey they walking, baboon he just the chop.
Spiritual life.
Yeah, I go chop all the washing, as long as you give me my passion. Baby, make you know they rush me. I beg you, make you treat me because
DJ A-Quil.
Kind of body where you carry it to give me ginger. Oh, come my side, let me hold you, sweet Belinda. Yeah, you got the antidote to cure my fever. Oh, you my lover for life. I love you, girl. Follow me, follow. Come to me now, follow. Sweet Belinda, follow. Oh yeah, follow me, follow. Mommy, come on, follow. Sweet Belinda, follow. Oh yeah.